podcast, part of the Field to 68 network, and we're joined today by Baylor point guard Davion Mitchell. A lot of excitement right now. This is NCAA Tournament week. Baylor preparing to play Hartford on Friday, and then hopefully advancing to another game in the round of 32 on Sunday. Davion joining us from Indianapolis. Tell us what the mood is like up there, Davion. I mean, is it tension? Is it excitement? Is it boring? I mean, just kind of being quarantined or in a bubble. What's it like right now in Indy?
For sure, it's not really boring. I mean, especially it's kind of different. I mean, it's kind of remind you of like an AAU trip. You see all the teams in the same hotel, walking around. I mean, it's different. I mean, it's definitely a different feeling. I mean, you're seeing different teams, like I said, yeah.
Have you run into any friends from other teams, guys that you might have, known from high school or coaches or?
Not yet. I mean, UNC Greensboro, I got a friend on there, Isaiah Miller. I ain't see him. I seen his team, but I ain't see him there, so I didn't know where he was. But I seen his team. We seen San Diego State. We seen Michigan. So we seen a lot of teams.
What about Coach Drew? Is he running into any of his former assistants or brother?
I don't think so. I don't think he has yet. We just been in our meeting room and then our room. So I think after we get done quarantine, he gonna meet up with all them.
Yeah. Take us through like once your run in Kansas City ended, y'all stayed there for a few days. Can you just kind of tell us what those next 2 or 3 days were like before you got to Indy in terms of practicing and stuff like that?
They were really hard practices. We tried to focus more on the defensive end because our defense is slack through this whole season. So we took pride in that. We had really good practices, though. I think practices that definitely will help us in the NCAA tournament. We competed at a high level the whole practice. The coaches stayed on us. At the end of the practice, we were gassed, so we knew it was a good one.
Right.
Davey, I want to follow up with that. I know you've probably heard these stats before, but I think you guys were top 5 defensive efficiency and top 5 in offensive efficiency coming off of that Texas win. Then you had the COVID issues. And offensively, you've still been in that same ballpark, top 5. But the defense since the COVID issues is like 190th, in efficiency after that pause. What needs to be fixed? I mean, what are you seeing? I mean, I know you're the defensive player of the year in the Big 12 and obviously, probably the top defensive player in the nation. You and Mark are, got so many accolades for that. But what needs to be fixed to make our defense elite like it was last year and most of this year?
I think from the first part, we have to start helping each other out. I mean, at the beginning, before Texas and after Texas, we were like helping each other out, covering for each other, talking, a lot of those things, just being active on the defensive end and love playing defense. But now it's like we're not really helping each other out. There's a lot of buckets where there's just one-on-one. I mean, it's kind of hard to stop guys one-on-one, especially these guys are really good players. I mean, we're playing in a really good league. So one-on-one is like, I won't say easy, but it's pretty easy for guys. It's like guys like Cade that's really good. So I think we got to just start helping each other out and being in gaps and just love playing defense and just being active. It's myself included. Off the ball, I got to be more active. I mean, I'm just not the only person that's playing really good defense. There's guys that's on the ball are really good, but off the ball, we just got to help each other out.
Do you think that we can attribute a lot of the defensive lapses to COVID, or do you think it's a combination of effort, focus, COVID? I mean, what's your perspective?
I wouldn't blame it on COVID. I mean, just because everyone had to deal with it. I mean, we knew we would have to deal with it eventually. I mean, but it's probably a combination of just wanting to. Probably people are tired. I mean, it's a really long season, especially playing that many games in that many days. I mean, we knew like we're going to be tired, and then we only had like one practice to actually play defense for real, like to have a really hard practice. So, I mean, it's a combination of all those things. I mean, but that's not an excuse. I mean, defense is just effort. I mean, we just gotta want it more than anyone.
Right. And plus, too, don't you think the fact that you played some of these teams multiple times, not just this year, but over the years, where they might know your tendencies more, and
yeah,
could that be
For sure. I think Oklahoma State, I mean, we beat them twice, and it's definitely hard to beat a team 3 times. They put us in positions where we couldn't really help. They put us in positions where they made a lot of easy shots. So, I mean, those guys are really good. It's a really good team. It's a really good coach, man. You let those guys play. They play with a lot of freedom. They get out in transition. They rebound the ball.
Yeah.
They're a really good team. So
yeah, no shame in losing to that team. I mean, that's a talented group who plays hard, and like you said, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and you guys were winning for most of the game. So I thought you did a lot of great things. Coach Drew said that practices this week were going to be, quote, full throttle, and you guys weren't going to hold back, and you alluded to it a minute ago. If I was a fly on the wall at that practice, or those last couple of practices, what would I have seen? I mean, was there a lot of bickering or trash talking, or what was it like?
For sure. I tried to bring the energy up by trash talking the whole practice. I mean, I just try to it wasn't just me, guys like Mark. I mean, he tried to bring the energy up, Jared, Maceo, Matt, all those guys. We just competed at a high level. I mean, I really loved those practices, and we needed them. We kind of got back to practices like the summertime where they just hard the whole time. You're competing the whole time. You're not really doing anything that you just lay back. You running the whole time. So I think that helped me really a lot, and I think it helped our team.
Yeah. One last thing about that Oklahoma State game. I feel like, that game for you defensively, especially most of it, I felt like that was one of the best games I've seen you play. And maybe you could pick things apart and find things that you did wrong. But, man, I just felt like you were all over the place. And I just thought, if anyone questioned whether you deserved that award or not, I mean, all you got to do is roll that film. But winning that award, was that a big deal to you? I mean, I know you try not to get caught up in individual stuff, but did that mean something to you, especially after you got slighted a few times and for other honors?
It did definitely mean a lot. I mean, especially because I love playing defense, and getting recognized for being Defensive Player of the Year is like a thing that I really enjoyed. I mean, but I feel like I wouldn't have got it if our team wasn't winning. So just shout out to my team, man, and shout out to the coaches for just letting me be myself on defensive end. I mean, letting me guard anywhere. I mean, guard the best player usually, and just be that guy in the front, just to get stops, man, and be that guy in the front that just play hard on each end of the floor.
And, so much has been made about your improved 3-point shooting, and rightfully so. But I've really noticed the past, 5 or 6 games, you seem to be in attack mode more than ever, and in terms of just beating your guy off the dribble and scoring in the paint. Is that something you've put more of an emphasis on, or you just kind of take it one again?
I just kind of try to take what the defense give me. I mean, I just try to, honestly, if I get in the paint more, I mean, I give my teammates more open shots, but if I'm shooting a wide open layup, I'm going to take that. But I mean, I just try to keep the defense off balance. They don't know if I'm going to shoot it or drive it. So I wouldn't say I'm focusing more attacking. I just really just take what the defense give me.
Davion, Coach Tang was interviewed, and he talked about how the last 2 practices really encouraged him. And he said that he felt the same way going into the Big 12 tournament last year before your season was canceled. And he made the comment, he said, I wouldn't want to play us right now. Can you tell when you have a couple good practices in a row that it's going to lead to great performances on the court? I mean, is that something you look back at some of the big games at Baylor, when we win, convincingly, has it always been precipitated by a really good practice beforehand?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially on the defensive end. I mean, when you have a good practice defensively, we kind of focus more on the defensive end in the game. And the offense is always going to be there because we got really talented guys that can do multiple things on the floor. But when we have a good practice defensively, it's definitely hard to beat us. I mean, because we're more focused, we're more locked in on the defensive end, talking to each other, helping each other out, covering for each other. So it's definitely I wouldn't want to play us either after a good defensive practice.
Right. Well, I know you probably the answer to your question, how far do you have Baylor going in your bracket is all the way to the national championship. But I did want to ask you, how far do you have Auburn going in your bracket? I'm trying to pull you off sides. I'm just joking here.
The Auburn. Yeah.
They're not it. I forget. Hey,
All right,
Davion, one thing, and again, there's not to harp on negatives because there's plenty of positives that we'll get to, but your bench all year has been so strong, and I think has been kind of the thing that took Baylor from being a great team to an elite team. And the last couple of weeks they've struggled, at least production wise. Are you seeing something in these last few practices that gives you confidence that guys like Flagler and John and Matt will be able to bounce back this weekend?
For sure. Those guys are starters on any team in the country, man. Those guys, when we had bad games, the starters, those guys picked us up. So when those guys have bad games, we just try to pick them up. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that we got each other's backs, and those guys are going to play real well. I mean, they got confidence in themselves. They're not down on themselves just because when we have bad games, we're not down on ourselves. I mean, we just let them pick us up. I mean, it's just like a team thing. So
yeah.
Those guys are going to play real well, I think, in the tournament because they work really hard in the games, and we know that we got confidence in the coaches got confidence in them. So we know.
I was going to ask, you didn't sense them being like down mentally, like after a bad game? You didn't have to say anything to them, or
no, not you don't really got to say anything to them. I mean, just because, like you said earlier, it's definitely hard to beat a team 3 times. I mean, Oklahoma State is a really good team. Kansas is a really good team. I mean, especially at Kansas, it's kind of hard to win there. So we wasn't really like stressed out.
It seems like with Flagler too. I mean, when you have 3 guards like you have that are scoring and being as productive as you are, it's almost kind of hard to go in and have a 4th guard get 20. I mean, but I'm sure he'll pick it right back up like he has so many times this year. I just expect you guys to come out like on fire. I'm not even talking about just making shots. I just meant from the energy standpoint Friday. Don't you think? I mean, like after this little break and now you're all, re-energized and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially just playing like a different conference, just a different team. Like seeing those new faces is going to be like, man, like we ready to play. Like just not seeing those guys in the Big 12, different.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be different defenses, like different things that we didn't see every night. So we definitely going to be excited to play.
You said something the other night, and maybe I took it wrong, but you made a comment after the K-State game. You were like, hey, a lot of these guys, myself included, have never, really been in this situation where you had to win tournament games and in the postseason and the lights are bright. And even if you were in that situation, maybe you weren't as key of a player as you. Was there maybe some tension there that's now gone, that you've kind of gotten through that conference tournament just for the whole postseason thing, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. We didn't expect to go undefeated our goal wasn't to go undefeated the whole season. Our goal was just to win the Big 12 and to win the Big 12 tournament. I mean, but that things change. I mean, those teams are really good, man. Like, yeah, I think our next goal is to win this tournament, and I think that's our goal. Just take one game at a time. So I think guys are really excited to play. I don't think nobody's nervous because, I mean, everyone hasn't been here, but I mean, as a team, we're confident in ourselves. We believe that we can make a really big run in this thing.
Yeah.
And this is another thing I heard Coach Tang say multiple times, but you can trust your work. And we've seen that with you on the offensive end and, just the ability to make big shots at key moments and just all the hard work that you've put in over the summer. Is there what's, I guess, the mentality? It's been a long season. It's been a tough season with the COVID, but now does this give you just new life and new energy to know that, the finish line is near and this is what you've built, all the work that you put in is for this moment. I mean, is that, is there just an excitement level with everybody on the team for this challenge?
Definitely excited. I mean, we worked all year for this moment. We talked about this moment all the time. I mean, it took the moment last year, it got taken away from us. So we're definitely excited to be here. Because some guys haven't been in the tournament, like Maceo, he has never been in the NCAA tournament. So I know he's really excited to play. I mean, especially those bright lights, everyone's watching. I mean, he's worked all his life for this moment. All those nights in the gym where he just by himself. I feel like they're going to shine in these moments like this.
Yeah, you think about that, and Adam Flagler is in the same boat. He's never played in the NCAA tournament. Jonathan's never played in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, LJ because he's a freshman and all the freshmen. But I mean, that is interesting. And Flo, did Flo play? or was he red?
Did he?
Yeah, he played. He
No,
played as a
he played.
freshman. Yeah,
No, when they played Gonzaga, yeah.
yeah. The other question I had is, I'm just curious what the quarantine life is like. Are they feeding you well? I know, like when typically when there's a tournament, the number one seed gets the better hotels. And did you guys get to pick what floor you wanted? Was there any kind of considerations or no?
No, I mean the food's here. I mean they feed us. They give us food, lunch, dinner, breakfast. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say we can get to pick our floor though, and we don't got the better hotels.
Right.
But it's definitely a nice hotel. I mean, we're blessed to be put in this situation to make the tournament, and just blessed to be here.
After
JW Marriott, is that where y'all staying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Jason.
After years and years of traveling with teams, do you ever get tired of hotel food? I mean, is it just like dry rest all the time, or do they give you a good variety?
Well, they kind of give us a good variety. I don't never say I get tired because I'm a picky eater anyway, so I'm not really like when I go to Chipotle, I get 3 things. So it's like I'm not really looking for like anything, no sauce or anything. So I kind of like the food at hotel foods. They're pretty good to me.
What do you say you get 2 things at Chipotle? Like, you mean in the burrito you get just
only in the bowl I get chicken, beans, and rice, and that's it.
That's it. I thought I had. One last thing about basketball. Teague has just been on fire lately, and he's had a great season all around. But man, he seems to be playing like a man possessed. Like, is it just what's gotten into him? What are you seeing?
He's just more locked in, man. Like I said earlier, that guy works really hard, extremely hard in this game. It was only a matter of time it was going to pay off. And I'm just glad it's paying off right now. You can see he's making really good shots. Like, he's shooting the ball well. He's being aggressive. He's being that leader in our team. It was just only in a matter of time that things was going to work out for him because he works extremely hard in this game.
I like a player like use the glass as well as he does, different angles and high. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's crazy because every time, like when we in practice or something, and I try to do something he does, I yell out Maceo T because he has extremely touch. Like, his touch is phenomenal, man. Like, I wish I had that touch. He know how to use the glasses as good as anyone I know. So it's like, man, I wish I had those floaters like he had, man. He puts it up really high. I mean, he's a really unique guy.
Davion, one more basketball question, but I noticed, I think it's just, the end of the, 7 games in 17 days, the last 2 games in the Big 12 tournament, maybe there was just a little bit of a drop in the body language and, just the enthusiasm that you've seen all year. And you've set such a high standard for congratulating each other, picking each other up off the floor, high fives, pointing at each other. Do you feel like maybe there was a little slippage after that Texas Tech game? And is that something that's also been emphasized in practice, that we need to get back to that level?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We emphasize that in film. I mean, code green, and there's things that we do called code green, and we just even slapping each other on the hand or saying good job, or maybe somebody mess up, just trying to go help your brother up, or still slapping his hand even though he turned the ball over. I mean, I think, after that Texas Tech game, we it kind of fell off a little bit. But I feel like after those practices we had, picking each other up, like you said, just being connected throughout the whole game, I think those practices helped us with that too.
Gotcha. Hey, I texted Derek, your uncle, and he wanted me to ask you this question. So, of the 3 uncles that you have, which one is the best basketball player, and which one is the best basketball coach?
Oh, it's kind of, I would say, I mean, Derek and Dominique are the only persons that coach. Who really taught me how to play defense was my uncle Duran, because he's a guy that plays defense now, and he's a smaller guy, and he taught me how to play defense. I think the better coach. I mean, the only person that coached me was Derek, so I can only say Derek. I mean, I've seen Dominique coach plenty of times, but I never been like his player, so I can't really say he's a better coach. And I think the best basketball player would probably be either Dominique, I think. Dominique or Duran. I feel like if Duran could have played longer, Duran would have been one. But Dominique, I watched him play when I was younger in high school, and I think he was the best one.
Is that a necessary thing to name every person in your family starting with a D? Sounds like there's a theme here.
There's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
My grandma and my mom, they always talk about it. They even get our names mixed up when they trying to call me. They call me Dominique, Derek, Deron.
Right.
And then they say Davion. It's like, it's kind of a hard thing.
Is there a place in your hometown or a restaurant or something that you wish you could bring to Waco? Something that
a place called Kobe's and Zaxby's. I'm a Zaxby's guy. I'm not Cane's guy. I'm a Zaxby's guy. So yeah, definitely Zaxby's. I used to go to Zaxby's all the time after school, after high school, and I love that place.
What would you get? The boneless wings or regular?
No, I get wings and things. I get sweet and spicy.
Yeah, no, it's a good spot. Also, with so many Big 12 teams in the tournament, now that you're not playing them, do you watch them? Do you hope that they do well? And also, if you had to pick a Big 12 team to go the furthest, who would you think it would be besides you guys?
I definitely would watch them. I'm definitely rooting for the Big 12. I mean, that's the conference we play in, where we feel like we're the best conference in the country. I think the team that has the biggest chance is either Oklahoma State or Texas. I mean, Oklahoma State is a really team that you don't want to see. Those guys play hard and they run the floor, and Texas is so versatile.
Yeah.
They can switch 1 through 5, and they got really good guards: Matt Coleman, Courtney Ramey, Andrew Jones, and Jericho Sims. The way he's played that last game, if he keeps playing like that, they're going to be a hard team to beat. So I think those two teams are. I think it's going to be.
There was a moment, and maybe I'm reading too much into this, but it was right after the buzzer when you guys lost to Oklahoma State, and I saw Cade, Cunningham, and Maceo kind of talking, and I couldn't tell if it was like a respect conversation, if they were trash talking one another, and then a couple of you other guys walked up, and was that just kind of a?
I think it was a respect thing. I mean, I think Cade thought Maceo said something to him or whatever, but I think Maceo said something like a good game or something like that. Respect.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, good game, appreciate it or whatever. Those are really cool guys, man. We wasn't really.
Yeah, because then I noticed y'all all shaking hands and hugging after that. So, well, I think, Ashley, you have anything else? Or?
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you, just speaking of that, though, who talks the most trash in the Big 12? Is there anyone that comes to mind that maybe runs their mouth excessively?
I would say Texas talks a lot of trash. Texas, when we played Texas, it was a heated game. I mean, they talk a lot of trash. I mean, especially because we're in Texas and they're in Texas, and that's like kind of like a rivalry.
Right.
But, definitely players on Texas.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Davion. We appreciate the time.
Hey, man, good luck to you this week, and hope to see you next week, because I think it's going to be a fun little stretch here, and you guys have worked hard and deserve any of the success you have coming your way. So thanks again for joining us during such a busy week, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, you too. For Ashley Hodge, I'm Jason King with Sic'Em 365 Podcast.